I just wanna touch her onion. She just want a couple hundred. I got mad and changed the subject. Then I got drunk and said fuck it. This is for my hustling niggas. This is for my hustling bitches. Pull up with that Aquafina. Yellow bone, her name is Tina. Tina like the hit casinos. Tina could snort a whole kilo. Tina like to fight and argue. Bye bye Tina, bitch, you argue. Met a dark skin chick named Anna. Anna like that marijuana. Anna was from the Bahamas. At least that's what she said. I assume she's honest. I apologize, Your Honor. I just wanted me some money. You can't tell these niggas frontin'. You can't tell these niggas nothing. 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 All that seems to be on my mind is hustling. All that seems to be on my mind is hustling. This is for my hustling niggas. This is for my hustling niggas. This is for my hustling bitches. This is for my hustling bitches. Nigga, don't act so suspicious. Hustle hot as hell, but you swear they snitching. You don't wanna go to prison. You don't wanna go to prison. You don't wanna come up missing. You don't wanna come up missing. I just want a couple bitches. Put them in the ring, make a split decision. I'm trying to slow down with the sinning. I pray to God, no, he'll forgive me. Me and God had a discussion. He said, tell him, I said, you can't tell these niggas nothing.
What's good? What's good? What's good, everybody? What's good? How's everybody's weekend going? It's your boy. And we're back for another one. What's going on here? What is going on here? Okay, there we go. We up and running. We up and running. All right. I don't know why that happened. It's always something, man. Make sure the audio's working. All right, so the audio's working. So we good. We good to go. All right, y'all. So I wanted to talk about who is blocking who. Who's blocking Errol Spence, Terence Crawford fight from actually happening, man? Who do y'all think is actually holding this fight up? Is it Errol Spence's side? Is it Terence Crawford's side? Plus, I was trying to do the pound for pound for George Kambosos the other day, and the camera got cut off, so I didn't get to finish it. So I wanted to finish that up. Who we got in here today, man? Y'all hit that like button for me. Hit that like button for me. All right, so I guess I'll start with because we was talking about Terence Crawford and Errol Spence the other day, and the camera cut off on me, so I had to end the stream. I was trying to talk to Caps and Full G because I'm doing this call in thing now. So if y'all want to call in, you can hit the number. The number's in the chat. The number's on the screen. As soon as I get done talking, I'll open it up for call-ins and let everybody, whoever's in here, call in and voice your opinion. But I was talking to Caps, and he was saying some pretty good stuff, but the audio didn't get captured. So, man, that was unfortunate because he was saying some really good stuff about Terence Crawford, about Errol Spence and the eye injury, and about the upcoming fights between Ugas. He said some stuff about Jamal James and Ugas, and I hope he comes back in. That way he can continue what he was saying the other day. For now, I just want to wait, see if some people come in, then we can get the conversation rolling, man. Once again, whoever's in, please hit the like button for me. Please subscribe if you haven't subscribed already. Let this roll for a few minutes, see if we can't get a couple people in here. Every time I try to go live, my homie goes live. I don't never get to catch his live because. Well, all right. So who's blocking who? Terence Crawford, Errol Spence Jr. Who's holding this fight up? I think if you're being realistic about it, you would have to say it's in Terence Crawford's hands to pretty much make the fight happen. Simply because Errol Spence, he has the majority of the negotiating power. And I started the conversation off the other day asking, why didn't Terence Crawford go after Yadenius Ugas? Because it would have gave him a lot more negotiating power if he was able to get that belt off of Ugas. And Captain 4G brought up a good point about, which once again, nobody could hear the audio because technical difficulties, but he brought up a good point about the WBA blocking Terence Crawford from actually fighting Ugas. And now it seems like the IBF is blocking Errol Spence from fighting Ugas as well. So it's going to be interesting how all this plays out. I wasn't aware that Jamal James had already fought his first fight in the tournament for the super title, but apparently he has and he lost. So Captain Full G was filling me in on that, and he was giving some real good points. So I definitely hope he comes back in and blesses us the conversation. My thing is this: I just really feel like for Terence Crawford's sake, he has to get that belt somehow off of Ugas. Whether he has to wait it out, and he's apparently going to have to wait it out until probably spring of next year, at least springtime of next spring or summer of next year, before he can either challenge Ugas or Spence. And I would hope that he fights Ugas. Tell you the truth, I would hope that, because if he was really going after the money, I I think he should fight Ugas first and then try to get the Spence fight, because he would have more leverage at that point. He would have two titles. He would have the WBO and then the WBA super title. So that would give him a lot more leverage. Maybe he can get another 5% out of Earl Spence to make the fight happen. Because I think if he doesn't go after Ugas, if he tries to fight Spence first, he's got to take that 60-40 split. He's not gonna get better than that 60-40 split. And I keep referring to the fact that if Spence loses, Terence Crawford's not going to offer him a 50-50 split in the rematch. So, for that simple fact, I don't think Earl Spence, in any way, unless Terence Crawford brings something else to the table, like the super title, is going to come up off of another 5% of the purse. Now, that's my personal opinion. I would love to hear anybody's opinion who's in the chat. Um, Just my personal opinion. I think it would be foolish on Earl Spence Jr.'s part to come up off extra money when he doesn't really have to. I mean, he could just sit back and wait and wait and wait, and he could always go fight Ugas. If Crawford doesn't want to fight him, if Crawford feel like he can't beat him because he lost to him in the amateurs, uh, there's always an open door for Spence to go get that title after all this plays out. But that's if Ugas still remains the champion once the WBA tournament's over with. He could very well lose to whoever's fighting next. He could lose to one of those guys. Do I think he's gonna lose? I doubt it, but he could very well lose, especially after what we saw George Kambosos pull off. I'm pretty sure it's gonna put a lot of fire in a lot of guys' bellies as far as fighters go, and them wanting to start putting better shows on and better performances on. So, definitely gotta hope that this fight actually does play out, man. We got 3 people in the chat right now. Whoever's in here, drop me a comment, drop me a like, please, so we can get shared out to more people. Um, and definitely drop me a comment in the comment section. Let me know what y'all think. Who's blocking who? Is it Terence Crawford blocking this fight? Is it Errol Spence Jr. blocking this fight? I need y'all's opinion, man. Because I personally do believe it's Terence Crawford blocking the fight. I would never say that the guy who's bringing the pay-per-view numbers, the guy who's bringing the unified champion, the guy who's just bringing the money to the fight, really, is the guy blocking the fight. I just I can't bring myself to say that because I mean, if Earl Spence wasn't bringing all this to the table, there would be no money on the table. Terence Crawford really brings. I appreciate that like. Terence Crawford really brings nothing to the table, man. Except for his belt. He does have fighting skills. Let's not take that away from him. He does have boxing. He possesses boxing skills. He's probably the second best guy behind Earl Spence or wherever you want to put him at. Your opinion might say he's the first. Earl Spence just got lucky to have those belts. And hey, you might be right, but we got to see these guys fight each other first. Oh, righty. So, real fast. I'm hoping Caps hops back in here so he can fill y'all back in on what was going on with the WBA tournament. I actually want to see for myself when's the next fight. The WBA welterweight tournament. Who's fighting next? All right, so Bill Bivo versus Samavo. I cannot pronounce these people's names. Uh, I don't think that's in the tournament. That's the bantamweight. Where's the welterweight tournament? What's good? Who we got in here right now? I mean, we got 3 people in here right now. Who's all in here? Middleweight, weight elimination. All right, so Ramirez versus Gonzalez, and then you should have where's I don't think I have some reason they ain't got they don't have Ugas on her. I don't understand that. Let me see. What's good with everybody? Appreciate y'all for coming through. Hit that like button for me as y'all come through, man. Drop me a comment. Trying to find the schedule for the WBA welterweight tournament. So Ugas is fighting Santos, and they'll be fighting. When is their fight? Doesn't actually have the date on her. Doesn't say when the fight is. Let me see if I can find that. Dennis Ugas versus Santos. When is this fight actually happening? What's good? Max Plank, what up? What's up with you, man? Appreciate you for coming through, man. We talking who's holding up Terence Crawford versus Errol Spence Jr. And I wanna get everybody's pound for pound ranking for George Kambosos. What do y'all think he deserves to be ranked in the pound for pound? I'm trying to find when Ugas versus Santos is happening.
gravity and relativity were discovered by people working from home.
Hold on, lady. You gotta be quiet before you give me copyright strike. I don't know why they don't have the date for the fight on her. Everybody got an article, but not the date. So I'm not sure when they actually fight, and nobody seems to want to post the fight date. Everybody got the everybody got an article about the fight, but not the actual fight date. And those dates. When did they fight? Name is for. Well, I'm not sure when they actually fight, because I'm not gonna sit here and look for it all day. But y'all let me think. If anybody knows when Ugas' fight is, please put it in the chat. Do you know when he actually supposed to fight in the tournament? Because Captain Full G filled me in the other day. He said that Jamal James has already had his fight. So I believe he fought Ramirez or Ramiro or whatever his name is. Everybody's talking about him requesting to fight Errol Spence Jr., but they're not saying when he. I don't want to read these whole articles. Oh, anyway, let's get back to talking about. So we basically know Ugas is going to fight in this tournament. I can't seem to find the fight date anywhere for some reason. I'm not sure why they don't have the fight date posted. Maybe it's been postponed for COVID reasons. I don't know. But definitely he's gonna fight next. This tournament is supposed to end before March. It's supposed to end sometime in March. So I'm not sure when Errol Spence is decided to make his return. Will it be before March? Will it be after? Is he waiting for Ugas to come back? Is he waiting for Terence Crawford to make his decision on whether 60-40 is fair? Or is he going to fight somebody completely different? Will Spence move up and wait? I mean, he has a ton of options at this point. I personally think he's gonna probably wait this Yadanius Ugas tournament out, and because I don't see Crawford accepting the 60-40, even though I think it's completely fair at 60-40. I just don't. I think Crawford's pride is kind of in the way. Uh, and I think it's a little bit of fear on both sides. You know, if I take this fight at a smaller purse and I lose, then what next? What do I have to gain next? How do I negotiate the rematch for Crawford? It'd be really ugly if he lost because, what if Crawford does lose? To Spence. He's already getting a 60-40 split, so he's not getting the majority of the money. He'll be without his title, and man, in the rematch, all his negotiating all his negotiating power would be gone if he asks for a rematch. I don't see him. He'll probably barely get a 30% split in a rematch. It'll probably end up being like 70-30 if he loses. So he really has to. Terence Crawford really has to put his best negotiating hat on here because if he loses, oh boy. On the other hand, if Spence loses, I don't think it's as bad as if Crawford loses. I think if Spence loses, he feels like, well, at least I get my money on the front end, and he's probably going to get his money on the front end. And if he loses and he gets a 30% cut on the rematch, because he'll get an automatic rematch clause. I know he'll put an automatic rematch clause in his, because he'll be the A side, so he'll get to make up all the rules. So I'm pretty sure there'll be an automatic rematch clause. He'll get the front end money, and in the rematch, he'll probably get the 30% again. Terence Crawford to get the 70%, he'll get 30. But he won't really be losing because he would have made a significant amount of money off that first fight, to where taking the second fight at 30% won't be like losing to him. So uh, it's all bad in Terence Crawford's direction if he just don't take the 60-40. Spence can just sit around and sit around and sit around. And I think that's what he's going to end up doing. He's going to end up waiting for Ugas. And Ugas Spence will probably end up happening sometime in the summer of 2022. And that means you won't potentially get a Crawford Spence fight until 2023. Sometime in 2023. We don't know if it'll be the beginning, middle, or the ending of 2023. But I wouldn't look for Spence and Crawford to even happen in 2022. I don't see it unless Crawford humbles himself and takes that 40%. The 40%, I don't see it happening. We just gonna have to wait this tournament out and wait for Spence to get the other belt, and then it'll play out. And by then, we don't know. Terence Crawford might have, said, okay, I don't have anybody else to fight at this point. Let me go fight Keith Thurman. I think Thurman Crawford will be a pretty spectacular fight. I think Thurman possesses the skill to beat him, but we haven't seen Thurman in almost 3 years. So, what version of Thurman's actually coming back? Who knows? Thurman might be like another Sean Porter. He might come back, get beat up, and then just retire, if you ask me. But y'all let me know what y'all think about that down in the comment section. Also, let me know what y'all think about George Kambosos' pound for pound ranking. What do y'all got him ranked at, man? Hit them likes as y'all come in and out, man. Please, I appreciate that. Hit them likes for me. Personally, and then Caps and 4G, he brought up something else when I was talking to him the other day. He was like, "Man, you forgot about Uzeki," and I did forget about. I had mentioned that there was another champion, but I just can't remember his name. And it was definitely Uzeki. So if you had to do a pound for pound ranking today, I think it would be Canelo, Tyson Fury, Canelo, Tyson Fury, George Kambosos. I would put Errol Spence, and then I would put Terence Crawford as a top 5, and then I have Uzeki as number 6. Let me know what y'all think. How would y'all's top 5 pound for pound, top 6 be listed right as of today? Max says tournament best versus best now. That's an idea. I think boxing should go to a tournament style. It shouldn't be all year. It shouldn't be a tournament style, but I think maybe the second half of the year you should do a tournament between the top 5 fighters. Let them fight it. That way, nobody can hold these belts hostage. A tournament would eliminate the people holding the belts hostage. But it doesn't benefit promotional companies to have tournaments. It only benefits the sanctioning bodies that have the tournaments. It benefits a promotional company to hold the belts as long as they can, because they can make the fights the way they want to make them, and they can demand higher portions of purses when they're holding belts hostage. And when you're having them tournaments, the belts will start circulating around. So no one fighter will probably be holding the belt for more than a year. But that doesn't benefit promotional companies. So I never see promotional companies actually investing in that motto. Unless all fighters start going independent, then you would see more tournaments. But as long as fighters are staying with these promotional companies, it's never going to happen. The promotional companies are dictating fighters holding titles. I don't really blame the fighters for holding the titles, because if the promotional companies wanted to make the fights, there's nothing stopping them. The fighters don't actually make the fights. The fighters just fight. The promotional companies make the fights. So we're really blaming the wrong people for why these fights aren't happening. We're blaming Terence Crawford and Errol Spence for something that the promotional companies should be putting on. I mean, they got all the money. They make the fights. Now that Terence Crawford is independent, we don't know how long he'll be independent for, but for the moment, he's independent. And a 60-40 cut for an independent fighter isn't that bad. It's actually very good. He's going to get all his money. I mean, he's going to pretty much get everything that with a slight portion probably going back to PBC because they'll be actually televising the fight and the pay-per-view and the venue and all that stuff. I'm pretty sure Terence Crawford's not going to come out of his pocket for it. So, he'll get a nice cut at 60-40. I don't see what the problem is now that he's independent. If he goes and signs with another promotional company, then they'll end up taking a chunk of his purse. But he hasn't signed with anybody at this point. What happened to my my wrench? What you mean? I'm not sure what you mean by a wrench. But if anybody wants to call in, man, I'm gonna switch it over. Y'all can go ahead and call in. The number's on the screen. It's in the corner right here. So if you want to call in, man, go ahead and call in, and we can talk about it. Definitely discuss it. Discuss what's going on with Terence Crawford and Errol Spence, or we can discuss the pound for pound ranking for George Kambosos. Either way you want to go. So go ahead and hit me up if you want to. If Caps and Full G's in here, man, go ahead and call me, Caps. Hit me up. Hit me up. I should have texted you before I got on her. I know some people will probably not. The blue wrench. I'm not sure what you mean, bro. Anyway, some people probably wouldn't even rank George Kambosos that high. I don't know why, because he has all those title belts. Uh, and I would rank him that high simply because the only other person who's unified like that is Tyson Fury, and then you got Canelo, who's I believe he's unified at middle. He's either middleweight or junior or light heavyweight. It's one of those that he's unified at. And then you got George Kambosos. He's the unified champion. You have other champions out there, and then you got Errol Spence. He's a unified champion. And then pretty much everybody else just holds one belt. So, I would definitely rank George Kambosos higher than anybody who only holds one belt. He has pretty much every belt at that weight class he's at, except for one that I think Devin Haney, I believe, holds. And then I believe, who's that? Ryan Garcia has some type of belt, some type of Ring Magazine belt. But I don't think it matters in the unification of the lightweights, what belt he holds. Max Plank, I ain't sure what you're talking about there, bro. Let me know what you got to explain a little more what you're talking about. I'm not sure. The blue wrench. Anyway, so back to Terence Crawford, Errol Spence. So you know what? I think it's gonna end up worse for Terence Crawford by the time the fight actually happens, because I think Errol Spence is gonna end up with that belt, the U Guys belt, whether he gets it from U Guys or whoever wins that tournament. I think he's more likely to end up with that belt than Terence Crawford is. And then you gotta think, well, if he ends up with the other belt, does he ask for another 5%? Does he go, well, I want 65-35 now. I don't even want 60-40. I want 65-35. So the longer Terence Crawford waits this thing out, I think the worse it's going to get for him. If he feels disrespected now, if Spence gets his hand on that other belt and starts hollering 65-35, he's really he's really gonna feel disrespected at that point. And it's a possibility that it plays out in that order. Whether people want to accept it for that or not, or whether people think it's fair or not, it's all up to Terence Crawford. Do I take the fight now, or do I just wait for Spence? I say, hey, I don't really care about a Spence fight. There's other fights I can make. I'll just wait him out. You know. But let me know, Max, you still in here? Y'all gotta let me know, man. What do y'all think? How do y'all think does this fight not happen till 2022? Because I'm leaning on that. It ain't happening until 2022. I mean 2023. It's not gonna happen in 2022. Y'all leave me some comments. I'm gonna take a break real fast. I'll be right back. What you saying, Max? Nah, cause you keep talking about the blue wrench. I'm not sure what you're talking about.
Negative, okay, nothing further. All that seems to be on my mind is all that seems to be on my mind is hustling. Negative, okay, nothing further. All that seems to be on my mind is hustling. All that seems to be on my mind is hustling. I just wanna touch a onion. She just want a couple hundred. I got mad and changed the subject. Then I got drunk and said fuck it. This is for my hustling niggas. This is for my hustling bitches. Pull up with that Aquafina. Yellow bone, her name is Tina. Tina like the hit casinos. Tina could snort a whole kilo. Tina like to fight and argue. Bye bye Tina, bitch, you argue. Met a dark skin chick named Anna. Anna like that marijuana. Anna was from the Bahamas. At least that's what she said. I assume she's honest. I apologize, Your Honor. I just wanted me some money. You can't tell these niggas frontin'. You can't tell these niggas nothing. You can't tell these niggas nothing.
All right, y'all. So I don't know why it keeps doing that. Something I got to fix on the back end again. It's always something you got to fix, man. Doing this stuff is not as easy as people might think it is. There's a lot of technical stuff you got to put together to get this to run right. But definitely feel like this fight's not happening until 2023, man. I don't see it happening until 2023. And I feel like it's going to end up worse for Terence Crawford. Terence Crawford's going to end up in a situation. He's going to end up in a situation where Spence is going to want 65-35, and the fight might not never happen. You might actually see Spence get that belt from Ugas and move up and weight and freeze Terence Crawford out. Because he can actually move up and weight and fight maybe once and then have to move back down and fight at 147 again to defend the titles. Because eventually they're going to want him to defend his titles at 147. But it's going to be interesting, man. It's definitely going to be interesting to see how all of this plays out. Does Crawford just say, hey, man, I have no other choice. I got to take this fight at 60-40 while I have the opportunity. Or does Crawford say, hey, there's always Ugas out there. Let me, what would the negotiation process be for a Crawford Ugas fight, which would be an interesting topic for a video. Like, how would they, if Ugas actually does make it through this tournament, pads his resume with another 1 or 2 victories. Does he go to Terence Crawford? If Terence Crawford goes to him, does he ask for 50-50 from Terence Crawford? And actually, I think that's a 50-50 fight because he already beat Crawford in the amateurs. So it would be interesting to hear what would be the negotiation process between Crawford and Ugas. That might be, that might be, it might be just as bad as Spence and Crawford's negotiation process because Spence and Ugas, I mean, they're pretty much equal. Both of them got 1 title. Whether you consider the WBO better than the WBA super title, I mean, you can argue that fact. But I think Ugas would have a good argument for a 50-50 fight with Terence Crawford. Ugas doesn't come with much of a fan base. Crawford don't come with much of a fan base. Neither one of them are really doing anything on pay-per-view. So I don't see how Crawford would be able to argue for more than a 50-50, maybe a 55-45 split, you know. But I would think Ugas has a really good argument for 50-50 when it comes to a negotiation with Crawford. But if I was Ugas, I would go after the bigger fight. You definitely gonna make more money fighting Spence than you are Crawford. But you're not gonna get 50-50 out of Spence. You probably won't even get 60. But Ugas probably won't even get 60-40 out of Spence. He'll probably get 65-35 to make that fight. And I think at that point you would probably see Ugas go more after Crawford than Spence, even though he stands to make more money off a Spence fight. It's just the negotiation process would be really ridiculous. It's already ridiculous when it comes to Crawford and Spence. It's almost as bad as Pacquiao Mayweather. I mean, this is why I got George Kambosos ranked so high as well too. I mean, he's willing to fight anybody. He's not like George Kambosos out here saying, "Hey, I won't fight Gervonta Davis. I won't fight Devin Haney. I won't fight Vasyl Lomachenko. I won't give Teofimo a rematch." No, he said he'll take anybody. Send anybody to Australia, and I'll fight them. Neither one of these guys are saying that. Heard Errol Spence or Terence Crawford saying, "Well, just make the fight and I'll fight them." There's always some underlying reason why the fight can't happen. So personally, I have George Kambosos ranked higher than both of those guys, and then the fact that he has more title belts than both of them. I mean, who wouldn't? You can't not rank him higher than both of those guys. But a lot of people don't live in the real world. They live in their own bubble. Live in their own bubble, man. Definitely. Who we got on? We got about 3 or 4 people in here right now. We've been on for almost an hour. I'll probably roll at about an hour. Who's all in here right now? Can I give me 4? Give me 4 likes. Give me 4. Give me them 4, man. If anybody want to call in, man, just hit the number up. Hit the number up. It's right there. Hit me up. Let me know what's popping. What is your take on Terence Crawford and Errol Spence Jr.? What's your take on George Kambosos? Who's George Kambosos gonna fight next? I would definitely like to see him, and I would love to see him fight Vasyl next. I think that would be a good fight. Uh, I would like to see him fight Haney. I think Haney would be a good fight, and I think I think that Gervonta Davis is the most dangerous. I think if he can take Davis's power, he can beat him. But the question is, if Davis hits him on the chin, does he go down or does he just suck it up and fight through it? It's going to be real interesting to see. I think that's the best fight out of all those fights. I know a lot of people like Devin Haney. Personally, I haven't saw Devin Haney fight live, so I can't really assess Haney properly yet. Um, but if you feel like Haney beats him, I think a lot of people are still looking past Kambosos, even though he pulled off the Teofimo fight impressively. They still think Kambosos not the real deal. And I think if another fighter goes in there and tries to fight him with that attitude, they're definitely gonna lose, and they're gonna end up in a situation like Teofimo was in, to where he just overwhelms them. Yeah, to where he just overwhelms them and probably outbox him because he's a very good boxer. He does what he's supposed to do. He's not like I know a lot of people probably say, well, he's not technical. He doesn't do this right or he doesn't do that right. But what he does do, he does it right. Like he throws his punches at the proper time. He uses distance. He has a little bit of speed. I don't know what he can add in there. If he could figure out a way to use some type of an angle like Pacquiao did, I think that would be a nice wrinkle for him to add. But I don't know if he's that type of fighter who can, because he's not a on your toes type of fighter. He's more of a flat footed, I'm gonna stand in front of you and get my shots off type of fighter. So I don't know if he can, being flat footed, if he could throw angles in with his boxing style. And maybe he doesn't need to add anything. What he did in that Teofimo fight was perfect. He got him the victory. It, he beat the crap out of Tio. And I know a lot of people saying when Tio was hurt, Tio had this going on, Tio had that going on. I'm gonna say this: the doctors do check you out before every fight. So if the error was caused by his asthma and not by a punch or something that just set his asthma off, then I think the doctors would have caught that before the fight. So I think that's a little bit of an excuse. He tried to throw an excuse in there at the end of the fight. Oh well, y'all know I won 10 rounds. I'm like, are you serious? Are you serious? You just got the crap beat out of you for 10 rounds. You probably won two, maybe three, but you just got the crap beat out of you for 10 rounds. Everybody saw that. That's why they booed him, and he had to even retract what he was saying. Like, all right, yeah, I'm tripping. But I definitely think Devin Haney. If Devin Haney comes in there with that attitude, I think George Kambosos beats him. If Javante Davis comes in there with that attitude, I think that George Kambosos beats him. If Teofimo, I mean not Teofimo, but if Vasil Lomachenko, I mean it goes for everybody. You can't come in expecting to win a fight with a guy like George Kambosos because he's an unknown. He's almost like a what Ugas was able to pull off with Pacquiao. Just because we saw him fight that way versus To doesn't mean that wasn't the game plan the whole time. He might be able to pull another wrinkle out. That might have been purposely the game plan he was using for To, and hell, it worked. He beat. So you might see him fight a different way, a different style when he fights Javante Davis. You might see him fight a different style when he fights Devin Haney, if or when, or Vasil Lomachenko. So I would never say that he doesn't have a chance against those fighters. I would say that if those guys take him lightly, they're probably going to lose and lose badly. So I would never go in with that attitude. I enjoy watching George Kambosos too, man. He's a likable fighter. He brings the action straight to you. I mean, at no point did I feel like he was backing off of Teofimo Lopez. He was always right in front of him, willing to engage with him. So whoever he does fight, they're gonna have to be willing to engage the entire fight, and they're gonna have a high motor. Javante Davis normally knocks his fighters out, so you haven't really seen him go a full fight. I think he knocked his last two or three opponents out. So could George Kambosos take him into the deep water and beat him up like he did To? Is very possible. Devin Haney, like I said, it's hard for me to assess him because I haven't seen him fight live. Vasil Lomachenko. I think that's the most interesting fight, and I actually think that would probably be the fight that's going to happen first for Kambosos. Because I think Vasil wants those belts back, and I think he'd be more willing to go to Australia and fight George Kambosos than Javante Davis or Devin Haney or anybody. Because nobody else really seems like they want to go to Australia and fight him, even though there's going to be a sick amount of money involved in that fight. Because he's going to fill that stadium up. Even Jeff Horn was able to fill one of those big old soccer stadium up over there. So with George Kambosos being the unified champion, he's gonna bring a ridiculous crowd. There's gonna be all type of money involved in that fight. So whoever decides to take is gonna make a boatload of money, whether it's Vasil, Javante Davis, or Devin Haney. They're gonna make a boatload of money. But I would say probably 100%. You're probably gonna see George Kambosos versus Vasil Lomachenko in Australia probably sometime next spring, sometime in the spring. And how does that fight play out? It's going to be interesting to see how Kambosos deals with Vasil's speed. That's going to be an interesting exchange. How for the first 3 or 4 rounds can he deal with Vasil's speed? Now he's been in the ring with Manny Pacquiao's speed, so I'm not gonna say, but he said Pacquiao busted him up pretty bad. So, he didn't lie about it. He said Pacquiao split it out. I think he said split his eye out open and he had to go get stitches and stuff. So he said Pacquiao busted him up. Was that from Pacquiao's speed or was that from Pacquiao's power? Uh, I don't know. We didn't, there's no footage of it, so nobody can really say. But it's going to be interesting to see how does George Kambosos deal with Vasil Lomachenko's speed and those weird angles that he uses. Very similar to Pacquiao. Vasil Lomachenko is very similar to Pacquiao. Just a very smaller version of Pacquiao. And if Pacquiao was able to pull those things off, I don't see why Vasil wouldn't be able to pull those things off. But it's not going to have the same power behind those punches that Pacquiao possesses. So, how does that play out? It might end. I think it would end in a knockout. I think George Kambosos would probably knock Vasil Lomachenko out. I think George Kambosos might retire Vasil Lomachenko. That might when he fights, because I'm pretty sure it's going to happen when he fights Vasil in Australia. I think George Kambosos will probably knock him out. I don't think Vasil is the same Vasil he was before Teofimo beat him. I think he's lost a little bit. Now I'm not gonna lie and say I missed his last fight, so I can't say how he looked. I had to go back and watch that fight to assess how he looked. But I don't feel like he's the same fighter he was when he fought Teofimo Lopez. Personally. And I don't understand why so many people are against George Kambosos. We got 4 people in here right now. Hit that like button for me, my man. If you haven't hit the like button, drop me a comment. Probably stay on here for a few more minutes and I'm gonna get off. I might get back on later on today and do another call in, see if I can get in Caps to come through so I can get Caps back on. He might be at work right now, so or with his family, so it is what it is. But if anybody wants to call in, you can call in. If anybody wants to drop a comment, drop me a comment now. Otherwise, I think I done covered it all. If you missed what we was talking about at the beginning, you can always go back and rewind it and catch that. And I'll put this back up later, and you can go back and recap it or whatever. What's good? We got 5 people in here. What's good? What's good? What's good? Who's in here? Who's in here? Hit that like for me. Hit that like button for me. All right, I'm gonna take a break, see if anybody drops any comments, and see if anybody calls in, and then if not, I'm gonna get out of here.
Negative, okay, nothing further.
All that seems to be on my mind is hustling. All that seems to be on my mind is hustling.
Negative, okay, nothing further.
All that seems to be on my mind is hustling. All that seems to be on my mind is hustling. I just wanna touch a onion. She just want a couple hundred. I got mad and changed the subject. Then I got drunk and said fuck it. This is for my hustling niggas. This is for my hustling bitches. Pull up with that Aquafina. Yellow bone, her name is Tina. Tina like the hit casinos. Tina could snort a whole kilo. Tina like to fight and argue. Bye bye Tina, bitch, you argue. Met a dark skin chick named Anna. Anna like that marijuana. Anna was from the Bahamas. At least that's what she said. I assume she's honest. I apologize, Your Honor. I just wanted.
Alright. We got 4 people up in here. What's good? Drop me a comment if you haven't dropped one. Hit that like if you haven't hit the like. So basically today I just been talking about who do you guys think is actually blocking this fight? Is it Crawford? Is it Spence? And then I wanted to finish the conversation I was having the other day about pound for pound ranking for George Kambosos. Like, where does everybody have George Kambosos ranked on the pound for pound list? Personally, I got him. I got uh, Canelo. I got Tyson Fury. I got George Kambosos. I got Errol Spence. And then I got Terence Crawford, and then Uzeki number 6. Because those are basically all. I'm probably leaving the Charlos out. I think one of the Charlos has some belts, but I don't really follow the Charlos like that. So somebody could probably hit me. Do the Charlos still hold belts? Did they lose those titles at 150? I think it was 154. Who holds the 154 titles? Mm-mm-mm-mm-mm. Who's I guess it is in this. Yeah, so the Charlos do have. Jamel Charlo has one of the belts. He has the WBC. Huh. So he does hold one belt at 154. So I guess you probably put the Charlos at. Hold on. Somebody's calling in. Hello, who we got on here?
What's up, man? It's Cap. Can you hear me, man?
I got you, bro.
Can they hear us?
Let me make sure. Let me check the audio. Hold on. I gotta wait like a second or two for the audio to come through. They should be able to hear you though this time. Your audio's picking up.
Check and see if they can hear, man. Let them press
You picking it up on my end because it wasn't coming through on my end last time, and I was wondering why it wasn't coming through, but I didn't want to stop, everything to. But hold on, you go ahead, bro, and then I gotta let you talk for a second before I can check because the stream playback is like 30 seconds off from what I'm actually doing. So hold on, I'm gonna check real fast. Yeah, they can hear you. They can hear you. I just checked. Oh man, trying to finish the count. I mean, I'm mad we missed all that stuff you were saying the other day about the tournament and everything, and then about the about Spencer's eye, because man, they missed all that stuff. Because a lot of that stuff I didn't even know.
No, but you can recap it. There's only three people left in the tournament. That's Errol, August is third almost, and Booker from Russia and Jamal James. So it's just three people left.
So you said Bootniff beat Jamal James, right?
Right. And Booker now he's waiting for one of Sandonis and August,
So Ugas is
and then
fighting Sandonis. Do you know when the fight's supposed to be? Because I
that's
tried.
today. I'm gonna let you know right now. Sandonis, he's supposed to be fighting. I think today or Friday.
Yeah, because he got to fight before he fights Ugas, don't he?
I think so. I think he's fighting somebody today,
'Cause
and
I
then
I tried to look it up, but it didn't have it. It didn't have it listed, so I was wondering why it wasn't listed.
right. But he has to have a fight who gets anyway, and then the winner of that fight will fight Booker.
We fight
Or
Bootniff.
Sandonis will both fight Booker, and then Booker beat Sandonis. Then he will fight Booker. And Booker is pretty good. I've been keeping my eye on Booker, but that last fight he had with Jamal James, I saw him get a couple of switches in his neck. He did some switching, and he's real powerful. Not to say he's on the top level, but just like Isaac Cool, a lot of people didn't know about him, and he gave Jake a little bit of some good competition to put him on the map where all the fighters could see him as a fighter to come up and fight. That's what Isaac Cruz did, got on the map. You know what I'm saying? Regardless if you think if his top five was broken in a 6 round, or even his trainer Calvin said that they had problems with his hand before the fight, and it started to irritate him in the 6th round, and his trainer Calvin told Pat, I don't care about your hand. Go in there and finish your job and beat Isaac Cruz. A lot of people said that he could have been done in 5 rounds and his hand wasn't hurting, but all of the ifs, buts, and buts. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Hey, man, let me ask you this, because I was talking earlier about so let's say Ugas gets through the tournament right with the belt. So he beats Santos and then beats who'd you say Bootniff?
Yeah, from Russia.
Okay, so let's say he beats both of those guys, and then Terence Crawford wants to fight him. Does Ugas have a argument for a 50-50 split with Terence Crawford?
Well, you said August have an argument?
Yeah, because we know he don't have an argument for Spence with 50-50, even though he asked for it. I mean, but since him and Terence Crawford only have one belt, apiece, does he have an argument for a 50-50 fight? And he didn't he beat Terence Crawford in the amateurs as well. So I mean,
Yeah, they did. You know what? I don't think none of them have an argument for 50-50. So Spence.
no, yeah. As far as Spence goes,
Right, but I see Lucas before anything happened to his jury, he was asking for 50-50. So I'm saying to myself, why would you ask for 50-50 if you know you? I mean, if you look at it, when Terence Crawford, if you look at Terence Crawford and Lucas and both of them ask for 50-50, you would laugh. Even though you know both of them don't deserve it, you would laugh to say, wow, Lucas, I can see Terence Crawford trying to play that stuff. But you gotta see Lucas playing that stuff? No, because you'll say like he didn't do enough in the division or whatever. But they both don't deserve it. But the way I see it is, how can I say it? There's something going on with the 50-50 where the egos that Terrence Crawford have and knowing that Errol is asking for stress season. Because guess what? Crawford is not asking for stress season. It's just Errol always asking for it. And the way I see it is like, it's kind of messed up to say, it's like a transaction fee. I'm going to tell you 50-50 so I can get closer to 55-45 instead of you getting 60-40. You see where I'm coming from?
and
It's not really.
that's my thing. I feel like both of these guys are using the split to not make the fight. Like they're just using it kind of like an excuse to not make the fight because it could have easily been made a long time ago. Uh, there's
Yeah,
there's really nothing. I mean, both of them's gonna make a lot of money off the fight. At 60-40, 55-45, 50-50, they still they still gonna make a boatload of money. So I don't think the money is what's like you said. Maybe it's more the ego and the O. Like whoever
right.
loses, there's no more O. You know, they become less popular after that fight. You know, they probably gonna get a rematch, but somebody's gonna lose their popularity after that fight.
And the problem that Errol Spence has, since he's been talking about scale season, that's all he wants is to be undisputed at 147. But he's at the edge end of being at 154 because as he gets older, he's what, 31, he's 32 the next year or something. His body is like he's at the edge of being 150. He said he doesn't even want to be at 147 anymore. It's hard for him to make weight. He even said this. So there's a lot of people say, well, I can keep you hostage. I say, listen, I can stop you from being undisputed. Who needs these belts more than anybody? Is it the belts or is it the money? Because he did the money with Manny Pacquiao. He was going to do the money with Manny Pacquiao. Manny Pacquiao had nothing to offer you after he lost the belt to Ugas because he still worked for Ugas. I mean, he still worked for, he was still going for Manny Pacquiao, but it didn't happen that way, right? But the money, you were offering to take that money, big money. But now there's no one else there but Crawford and Errol Spence. And another thing with Errol Spence is that his back is against the wall, not also his weight, but the rankings. The IBF, well, also, yeah, the IBF has Jamal Ennis at number three, but actually he's at number two because Sean Porter is at number three, and he retired. So actually, I'm sorry about that. Errol Spence mandatory right now. Abdul, I can't say his name. He's number one mandatory for the last year is fighting tonight. I'm sorry. He's fighting tonight.
Ah,
So
okay.
if either he wins or lose, it doesn't matter. Bruce Ennis is still number two on the IBF mandatory. So what are you going to do if Crawford says, you know what, I want 50-50. Preliminary he said he wants 50-50, but if Al Hamer said, listen, we're going to give you 55-45. That's why I think Crawford's trying to push that. But you never know with Crawford because he gives you mixed signals. One minute say he wants to fight, one minute say he don't want to fight. And he said that in the ring also. He said, Alex Smith, take your tail out your ass and we could do this fight. But he did it in a certain order. He said, well, I could go up to 154. I could fight this person. That's what he said in the ring. Or I could fight Errol Spence if he get his tail out the ass. So he got this kind of complex problem with him. Not problem, but where he was saying, I don't need to fight, but I want to fight. But I want to fight, but I don't need to fight. So he tried to tell you two things at the same time. Like, and he did it in the ring when he won,
And
when he
that's
fought
that's
Sean Porter.
that's kind of my problem with this whole thing because I know a lot of the people follow me. They like Terence Crawford, and I
Right,
feel like Spence would win in that fight. But my thing is this: like, if he's so confident that he can win, why not just take the 60-40, beat him, and get your
right,
payday in the rematch?
right. Yeah, right.
Because
That,
I mean, you're
that's
gonna you're gonna make big money off the first fight. There's no doubt. But the second
right,
fight, you could command a 70-30 split.
right. Listen, Eric could get 60, he could get 40, but like I said, this is the thing that Crawford keeps saying. I did enough. I had on one of my videos on my channel where he was taking an interview with Yahoo Sports when he was about to fight Khan.
You talking about
And
Crawford?
before yeah, he sat there and he said, and the guy interviewed, how would you feel if you don't get a fight with Keith Thurman or Errol Spence or Sean Porter? He said, it doesn't matter because I did enough at 130, 135, and 140, and I've been undisputed, and I'm ring ragged, I did enough for sports, so those guys won't make me,
And you
or
know what?
anything like
And
that.
that's my beef. That's my beef with Terence Crawford. He's trying to he. It's like Earl Spence feels like he's king at 147. Terence Crawford feels like he's king because of what he did at the lower weights. But
Oh,
he's not accepting the fact that Spence is specifically talking about 147 pounds.
right. But that's the thing too, because what Spence told Crawford was, when you get a belt, then you're talking about a fight. So Crawford got a belt by Jeff Horn. Jeff Horn beat the man, Manny Pacquiao. Well, robbed the man, but he got the belt. So when Crawford did that and beat Jeff Horn, he said, well, listen, you asked me to get a belt, now I got a belt. So what's the problem now? And then Errol Spence said, well, which one is easier? It's easier for me to clean up my side of the street, blah blah blah. And then that's when this side sheet started happening. And then next
Do you think that's because Earl Spence got more negotiating power when he got that second belt? You think he realized, well, hey, I can get a higher dollar amount if I just wait him out.
yeah, yeah, he can. He can do that, but now it's not that good now because he hasn't fought. He hasn't fought for a while. He's who knows if he went back to he got to do a fat camp. Who knows? Before he fights Crawford because he's been out so long. I mean, when he was planning to fight Manny Pacquiao, he was in good condition and was just as fine. And like I keep telling people, I remember this little thing telling people, it kept saying that Errol Smith did not know nothing was wrong with his eye until he went for the examination to fight Manny Pacquiao. That's when he found it. And that's a lie. That's a lie because I have an article on my channel. ESPN had an article with him, and he said this is what I told the third party ESPN. And we always use third parties. This is what a boxer said to this person. This is what this one said. And it was written down. This is what he said. He said, I was sparring in Dallas, and he had to stop the session. I'm gonna have to show you the link. He had to stop the session because something was funny with his eye. So he had an examination in Dallas. After he had that examination in Dallas, then he got another second ophthalmologist, a name of Arteta or Thomas Arteta or something like that. And then after that, he went to Vegas for the pre-examination fight for Manny Pacquiao. And they said, bro, you can't fight your eye. You have not a corn. Because remember, also everybody was saying it was a corn.
It
But
was
actually, it was
detach, and that's my thing though. And I keep saying that had to have happened in an accident. They just must not have caught it because how do you get a detached retina from a thumb in the eye? I mean, he had to have dug really deep into his eye for that to happen.
right, and that's the same thing I'm trying to figure out how you did it in front. But it's not my word, it's what Errol Spence says. He said he scored, he got it, and then after that, he tried to score again, and he was like, nah, stop. But like you said, how you think that it happened when he flipped off his Ferrari and
Yeah, I would have to think it had to have happened then, and they just didn't catch it. But like you said last time, hey, he did have an examination during the Danny fight, and
right,
why didn't they catch it then either? So it just seems weird that he got a detached retina from a thumb in the eye.
right. So I mean, hey, after the pre-examination with Danny Garcia, they check your eyes. I'm pretty sure they put a flashlight in your eye to check your eyes, to check your nose, to check your heart rate, to ask you what's wrong. And if he got cleared, that means there was no indication that he got it. Now listen, things happen, and not the doctor can always tell you what's going on. And we all assume there was something wrong that wasn't showing in the pre-examination with Danny Garcia. But to my knowledge, and anybody else's knowledge,
You know what that smells of? It
what?
smells of a fixed fight.
You know?
Maybe, I mean, he could have known, and they just let it pass because they knew he wasn't gonna lose that fight.
Yeah, but then would you take a risk of Danny hitting him in the face?
Yeah, I mean that's definitely a risk. That's definitely a risk. But
That's a risk. But he won the fight, and then he ended up training back with his new trainer, Blue Ray, that he used to train back in the days, and he was preparing himself for Manny Pacquiao. So to me, I think he's physically ready to fight right now. It was just his eye. If he had stayed with his chin shot all through this process after the whole August and Manny Pacquiao. I should see him losing, like gaining weight to lose weight again to change over. So he actually should be fight ready, but he just doesn't have a fight. And
Do you
basically,
you think he's gonna go after Ugas or Crawford next? I mean, where do you think he's going next? Because I mean, he eventually got to fight. He's been out for what, almost a year now. So he's eventually
yeah,
he's got to fight
yeah.
somebody.
But remember, Errol Spence said after Sean Porter and Crawford, he said, and he asked him about Crawford. He said, listen, I don't want too much from boxing to assure himself. So he's saying this out his mouth. People think that I'm a Crawford and fan, but it's not that I'm a Crawford or a Spence fan. I'm looking outside because I'm a Manny Pacquiao fan. I'm looking outside, I'm looking inside, and I get at these two dudes on my channel all the time. At one time, I didn't like what Crawford was saying, and I thought he was ducking the fight. But then Errol Spence now saying, we'll see if he's going to do the fight, we'll see. But he said he does not do too much. So a lot of people are trying to say, wow, man, it's high. If he goes in there now 100%, we can always use that excuse. But if he goes through pre-examination for this fight, and they say everything's all right with his eye,
There's no excuse at that point.
right.
So
And listen, and the thing about, they said when he was walking in, on my channel, I said, listen, Jamal James, he was off 2 years and 3 months when he fought, what's this dude's name? He fought this guy, uh, no, August was off 2 years and 3 months and he fought Jamal James.
and I watched that fight. That was the first time I saw Ugas.
Right, and Jamal James had a 3-day notice. He had a 3-day notice that he was going to fight August. And August was actually preparing himself to fight a southpaw. Is there any southpaw in there? He was actually preparing to fight a southpaw, but at the last moment, the opponent didn't show up or something happened. He didn't.
Matter of fact, wasn't that a tournament? That was actually a tournament as well. I believe that he was supposed to fight that other guy in, and that's how he actually got elevated to super champion when they stripped Pacquiao.
Right, right. So he was supposed to fight a southpaw. He ended up fighting Jamal James as orthodox. Then Jamal James didn't know he was going to fight Lucas until 3-day notice. So a lot of these fighters, they come in with injuries, they leave with injuries, they either get a 2-day or 3-day notice, or maybe 2 weeks, like Manny Pacquiao got 2 weeks to fight Lucas. Uh, People get off for 2 or 3 years, 2 years, and they come back and fight. On my channel, I try to use Manny Pacquiao, but I said, if I use Manny Pacquiao, I'll say, well, he lost to Ugas for being out too long. So I said, let me use Ugas versus Jamal James because he beat Jamal James after being out for two years and 3 months. So there's no excuses. Errol Spence back is really against the wall, and I think that not Ugas, but Crawford is pushing 55-45, but the only way you could push that is you 50-50. But Crawford's not going to say that because he just has not ego, well, I think he's not an ego thing, but he just feels like I did so much for the sport, I deserve.
And that's my thing. I'm like, man, I don't understand what, because I mean, if he was still at 140 or 130, then I would say he got an argument. But at 147, he really don't got an argument.
And then after he beat Sean Porter, he's telling the people out of the ring who's the best welterweight now, and everybody's saying, yeah, the Crawford fans. But at the same time, he beat Teofimo, he beat Sean Porter, because everybody that all the Spence fans said, we want you to fight a good opponent. And that's what he did. So he's just like,
I
listen,
mean,
I know
how do you assess Sean Porter? I mean, being off for that long and then coming back and fighting, who's considered to be the best. I mean, do you think Sean Porter was even prepared?
no, he was prepared. He was prepared. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, like I said, a lot of these fighters fight once or twice a year. So if you want for years, you just one fight. I mean, how much? It's not like back in the day we do fight every month or
Was
right
it
now.
was it a year or 2 years that he was off?
Uh, um,
Porter.
Porter. I don't know how long he was off.
He was out for a while. He been out. He been out of the action for a while.
Yeah, I can't remember his last fight,
But let
yeah,
me.
he got stopped. Crawford's like in a knockout streak, 9 and 10 knockouts.
Yeah, he's got a lot of knockouts. I mean, you think he knocks Spence out? Do you think if they fight, he knocks Spence out?
Well, I'm trying to figure out what Spence doing because Spence couldn't even knock out Mikey Garcia that came up from 140 to 147. So I'm like, why are you not this brother out?
Mikey, or Danny, he could knock out either of the Garcias.
So I'm just looking.
But do you think that's more of his style, and he sticks in that style so well? Like he's not going for a knockout. He's more going to just win off points.
Right, because Porter said that Errol Spence hits harder than Crawford. You see, there's different power when you punches. Like, one punch will hit you a shot that you don't see. It's just crazy. And it puts you on the ground. Yeah, some people, they wear and tear on you.
Exactly.
Those punches, and they keep thumping until it hurts so much that you're going to go down. I think that's an Errol Spence.
Let me ask you this. Do you think Earl Spence's, because you know he's gonna try to rehydrate up if they do fight really high. So you think that's gonna give Crawford a problem because you know he's gonna try to come in 154, 150. You know he's gonna be bigger than 147.
Well, see, that's the problem. That could be an advantage and disadvantage to Crawford because, like I said, he's on the edge. 154. He's right now. He's stretching his body to stay at 147. So now, if you keep fluctuating, like Crawford, he's a natural. You can tell that
Yeah,
his natural weight is
He-
like 147.
yeah, he's around that 140 mark somewhere.
Right. But you can tell that he's not really a natural 147.
Now, when you look at him, you can tell he's much bigger than his body is shaped much bigger than 147 pounds.
Yeah, he looks like he could be a 154, maybe 160 or something like that. But that's his problem because now, guess what? You got to go down to weight to get on the scale. Then you got to go back up. Then you got to rehydrate. Guess what? When you're in the ring, you know what happens? You get slower. That fluctuation there could cause you to get tired. That fluctuation there could cause you to go move slower.
But
You know?
but that kind of goes to my point. I think that's why he fights the way he does because he knows he can't. If he moves any quicker, then he's gonna gas himself out.
And you're right, brother, because he said that. He said, I'd rather just walk you down. I'm not doing so much of a footwork situation because it's just like unnecessary energy. Eric said
Exactly.
that one time. So he's
Exactly.
right about that. But the problem with Crawford is his strong hands and his jab hand. His strong hand and his jab hand because he broke his right hand. He learned how to fight southpaw. So in southpaw, your right hand, he broke his right hand. He switches to learn how to fight southpaw, use the nut jab or whatever. He did what he had to do. When his hand healed, he switched back. He stayed in southpaw position because he always talked about having really strong, and he ended up using it in the front to do the jab. And now a lot of dudes are getting stunned with that jab because that's actually his power hand.
That's his
It's
power
not the
head.
jab or the right hook. That's killing these guys from the front with the jab. It's either the jab or the right hook. So those are setting up his punches for his left hand, even though his left hand is not showing his right hand. It's just that what happened when he broke his right hand, he just switched and tried to do different things with his left hand in a southpaw, not a southpaw position, but in an orthodox position. Because the trainer was like, listen, you broke your right hand, you can't train. And I remember I saw an article, I saw the video, he sat there with his sisters on the porch and said, nah, I'm not going to stop training. Let's go on the ring. I told my trainer I want to train no matter what, my right hand is broken. And that's what he did. And I think that's contributed to him being a future.
Yeah, I've seen that. I've seen that interview before.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this, man. So who do you think? Because Spencer's not gonna come off the 60-40. It's not gonna happen. So who gets the you guys fight first if who guys makes it through the tournament?
Well, I saw an article with Errol Spence, and they asked what's going on with this? This is a long time article. I gotta get the clip. And he said, it should, this is the keyword. He said, it should be 60-40. But this is another keyword. He said, but I let Al Heyman do all my
The negotiating.
negotiation. But that's how he feels. That's how he feels. But Al Heyman, he said, I let Al Heyman do my negotiation. But it should be 60-40. So I don't know if this has something to do with Al Heyman Errol Spence and Crawford. If they can sit down and if Crawford is saying 50-50, Al Heyman say, listen, we gotta make this fight. Because at the end of the day, if Bruce Ennis, right, he's a switcher, he's bigger than Crawford. People used to say to Crawford, this is
It sounds like you got some confidence in Boots beating who guys.
oh, Bruce could be everybody. Bruce could be everybody.
I remember you mentioning his name a lot, so I'm not surprised that you high on him.
Yeah, because he's now the mandatory over after Abu, the guy named that's going to fight today. Steph Ivy is mandatory. Grananoff, Abu Budogan, he's fighting today, but he's also the mandatory for Errol Spence. But like I said, even if he wins, Errol Spence will be lucky if he wins tonight because he can stay Errol Spence mandatory. If he loses, well, it doesn't matter. Ian is the second one in.
So
He's out.
if that guy loses tonight, then Spence has to fight Boots as a mandatory.
Right, right, right.
Gotcha.
And
So you think that fight would happen over the Ugas fight? I mean, the IBF has basically blocked the Ugas fight already, right? Because they want
well,
that mandatory.
well, I mean, if Ugas wins and beat Buchner, I'm still seeing Buchner as a risk. If you see Buchner's last tournament fight with Jamal James, check him out.
I'm gonna have to watch
Check
it,
him out.
man, because I still haven't seen
Yeah,
Booten fight yet.
yeah. Watch Buchner fight Jamal James in the tournament. Because that was the last fight they had. Jamal James, Jamal, something to do with supposed to be
I
Jamal
might
James.
make it a film study of the next video or
Yeah.
something.
And a lot of people sleep on Buchner. Not to say that Buchner, not to say Ugas can't be Buchner, but I'm just saying that he's a risk to me. I think he's a risk. He's somebody that a lot of people sleep on. But I saw him do a couple of things. And I'm like, damn, how did I switch from left to southpaw? He did a couple of things that was kind of awkward to me. And I'm like, maybe he might be a risk.
So you think Butner's gonna make it? He's gonna fight. So who you think wins between Butner and Ugas?
Well, I think right now I was spending who gets to beat that Dominus first. And that's the next fight he has in the tournament. I think he's going to beat, I know he's going to beat, well, I think he's going to beat Spadonius. So once he fights Spadonius, then he's going to fight Butner. I don't know about this. Everything's going against Alston. The WBA sanction body, after all these fights that Ugas got to do, and he's successful, he might go all the way to 2023.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, they said the tournament would be over before March, but I'm like, man, how are they gonna have two fights that fast?
Exactly.
Because I mean,
And I
you
think,
saying his opponent fights tonight, so that means their fight can't happen at least for about 2 months, which would be what,
well, no,
February.
I made a mistake. No, I made a mistake. I made a mistake. It was
Oh, okay. Yeah, you did. Okay, yeah, yeah. You said it was the other guy who was fighting tonight.
yeah, it was Spence mandatory fight tonight.
Okay. So it's
Yeah,
possible that Ugas and Santos could possibly fight sometime in the near future, and then
yeah,
he'll fight Butnev in
yeah.
March.
Because one of the sitting back waiting. He's just waiting now to see what's going to happen with
So
Ugas.
I guess if so, who you think gets that? Let's say Ugas does make it through this. He makes it through, and now Spence he has to pick between Spence or Crawford. What's the best? Who
Well,
you think would win the negotiating battle for that title fight?
well, right now, if Ugas beats everybody in the tournament, I'm pretty sure Spence is going to stay on his side of the street with Ugas and try to fight the fight with Ugas to get the third belt. That's, that's what basically I'm seeing. That's the easy.
So is Crawford not signing with PBC?
He's a free agent now.
Because I seen something before I got on here that said that he might sign with Floyd Mayweather.
Yeah, some people are saying that, but right now I think he's doing a fight by fight basis, and if it's anything with the PBC, I'm pretty sure in the contract they'll say that he has to get a deal to fight Errol Spence, not two fights before I fight Errol Spence, none of that stuff.
Yeah.
And I think he's just going to do fight by fight, like you know, we now know that Thurman is fighting Mario Balance.
Oh, so Thurman's got his comeback fight already scheduled.
Right. The one that Tech beat just recently, before this guy, Cruz, Mario Balance.
Yeah, I remember Burroughs. Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't like that fight, man. He's a young dude. Why are you putting him in with Keith Thurman? He's got to come up the weight. Just like Keith Thurman, he's young. Why did you do that to that man? Like, hey, if I could get
That's a good fight though. You know, Thurman's been off for a while, so there's no telling what's gonna come back to the ring when Thurman comes back. So I mean, he might have a puncher's chance of beating him.
And the thing about Thurman, Errol Spence always keeps complaining. He keeps complaining. I'm not going to give Keith Thurman a try because I remember when Keith Thurman was on top, and he didn't want to give it to me. He didn't want to give me the opportunity, so I'm going to back him. This is what Errol Spence said. So I already heard what Crawford said. I'm going to fight Ugas or I'm going to fight Errol Spence. That's what he said. So that's what Crawford said. He said, I'll fight Ugas.
And you said you feel like if Ugas makes it through this tournament, you think Spence would secure the fight before Crawford?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, I'm sorry, I made a mistake. I said Crawford was out of fight Ugas or Keith Thurman. But we know that Errol Spence will not fight Keith Thurman. So the only option is Ugas. Because Errol Spence still has this little beef with Keith Thurman about what Keith Thurman did in the past statement. You see what I'm saying? Not giving him the opportunity. He's holding that grudge.
Holding that
So
grudge against him, yeah.
he's like, he said, nah, I'm not going to give you an opportunity now. But guess what? If Keith Thurman comes back and he beats Mario Bowers and he comes back and he's in the top and he got a belt, wouldn't you get, wouldn't you want to fight Keith Thurman now? So all this back and forth about you give me the opportunity and there's a lot of options for Errol Spence to keep busy. He can fight Keith Thurman and he don't want to fight Keith Thurman. So the only thing he got is Errol Spence only got Ugas and Crawford. On the other hand, Crawford got Ugas, Keith Thurman, and guess what? Crawford always wanted to fight Keith Thurman at the time because at the time Keith Thurman was on top. So he was always calling out Keith Thurman name. So
You feel like that's a dangerous path to keep taking though? Like to keep, I mean, one of these guys could possibly beat Terence, and then if they beat him, I mean, it takes all the. There is no more Spence fight.
see, that's what I'm saying. I mean, shot season is really the shot season. If that's what you want to be undisputed. Because right now, let's be honest. Let me just ask you a question. You know, because we Pacquiao fans, we're not really that up on Errol and Crawford, but we know the story. But guess what? Crawford's been what? 130, 135, 140, undisputed at 140, I think. And now he's well, I'm sorry, 135, 140, 147, I think that's what it is. And you could say he's in the Hall of Fame
He,
based on divisions already.
what he's done is definitely Hall of Fame worthy of going through all those divisions and
What
winning
about
titles at them.
Errol Spence? He only did what? He only got two belts in one division. So this is what he's trying to play on Errol Spence. He's trying to play this dude like, listen, you got the stats. If you want a chance, it's going to be a transaction fee, brother. You're not going to get 60 points from the biggest fight. I'm not letting that happen. Even though it's right that Errol Spence supposed to get 60-40. I think I'm going to say, listen, man, if this is going to be our biggest fight and we making 20 million and up, who knows how it's going to go with the ticket sales, the pay-per-view sales. And I'm not going to get no 40 if I know you're going to get 60 and make more money than me. Regardless if I win or lose, I will probably, he probably say 50-50 because he won 50, 55, 45. He's trying to get as much as he can out of
He
me.
wants that, and I can see him on that extra 50. I can see him on the extra 5% if he was still with Bob. But now that he's not with Bob, I don't see the need for the extra 5.
No, he don't, yeah, he's not with Bob. He's a free agent. So he can go with anybody he wants to, but I still think he's just like ego trip. Like, this is my
Yeah,
man, this dude.
yeah.
I don't need Bob, but I
And and that's messed up because that's exactly what killed the Pacquiao the Maypac fight was ego.
Yeah, because I remember Mayweather offered Manny Pacquiao 50 million. Take the 50 million. And Pacquiao was like, no. Because we didn't know how this fight's going to be. And guess what? No one beat that record of being those pay-per-views.
Yeah,
No one.
I don't think it's ever gonna happen. I don't think it's ever gonna happen now. I think that's probably history forever, especially because
Yeah,
people are not buying it no more.
right. And they streaming it.
It's too easy to stream now.
It's true. So I think that's written history of the highest pay-per-view. But see, the thing I Errol Spence understand, he is a cash cow. He is a pay-per-view king. So he's an ultimate king position or whatever. So what he understands is that you stuck with two belts, man.
I mean, he can always take his show on the road up to 154 and challenge the Charlos. I mean, it would be kind of foolish if he lost because it would take some of the umph out of the Crawford fight, but he would still be the champion.
The problem is this big problem is Luke Ennis. A lot of people don't understand this dude's 5'10". He's a southpaw. He's a switcher. And if you listen to him and you watch him fight, he's got power in both hands and he can switch. Um, no one right now, Conor Ben, Virgil Ortiz, you're not sure if you want to fight him, no one want to fight him. He always has problems getting fights. So now when he comes up in the rankings, and he's knocking on your door, Errol Spence, you got two things. You got this young dude that's 23 years old, and everybody's saying he's the next Roy Jones. Then you got your weight problem, and then you got Crawford with the 50-50 nonsense. You're right. You're supposed to get the highest cut, but guess what? You 31, 32, you breaking down. You already got the engine rolling. So you're gonna go backwards and fight young dudes, or you're gonna get this money and retire. Well, Anthony Crawford, he's 32 these days. He should either get all the money he can from this fight and retire. Because all these new dudes, Conor Ben, Virgil Ortiz, Speedy Ellis, Bruce Ennis,
Time's not on either one of those guys' side, so it's better to get it now than, like you said, for one of these young dudes get to them.
yeah, because Crawford's a free agent, so he can go anytime he wants.
Let me
But
ask you this. Let me finish with this. So if let's say Spence doesn't fight Ugas next and he fights his mandatory, and Crawford decides to negotiate with Ugas, and Ugas makes it through the tournament, and Crawford negotiating with Ugas. Is that a 50-50 fight?
well, I see it another way. It's like you said with Fat Donis. Um, if he fights, I'm sorry, if Errol Spence fights IBF mandatory, the one that's gonna fight tonight, and he wins, and then he gets a break because then he can fight his mandatory in the future instead of fighting Gerard Ennis in the second in rankings. He can fight him, and guess what? Crawford could end up fighting who he wanted to fight all this time. He could fight Keith Thurman.
You think he goes after Thurman instead of Ugas?
Um, I don't know. I don't know what's going on in Crawford's mind because like he gives you these mixed signals, but like he went to the WBA. He had Chico Lopez go to the WBA to petition for being the mandatory of the WBA or something or WBC. Be mandatory to Errol Spence had no choice to fight him. But then
And
he obviously said, "Oh, I don't need that fight."
And that's what I'm saying. I think it's smart for him to go after Ugas because it forces the Spence fight. I mean, if he takes the belt from Ugas, Spence has nobody else to fight. It-
Exactly. And guess what? That means both of them got
and then they just, I mean, there's nowhere else to go. They both got to fight each other.
right. So that's what Crawford said. I either take Keith Thurman or Ugas. But everybody's saying Ugas is busy. So what is he going to do in the meantime?
I mean, it's only what 4 months until March, 4 or 5 months.
Right, but remember, Ugas has to fight Adonis and Ugas.
But they're saying that the tournament is supposed to be over by March. From what I read, they said
By
that
March.
yeah, it's supposed to be over in March.
Okay, so if it's over in March, then when would
Probably early summer, July, June, July.
Right. So that's a long time. I mean, it's not a long time, but
It would be about 8 months since so that's what Crawford fought last month. So it'd be about 8 months. He'd be off about 8 months, 9 months.
right. And Crawford talking about how I feel before you leave my mind right now. After that second quarter, he said, "Nah, man, I ain't fight right now. I want to keep busy." So my thing is,
So you think Crawford would it? So you said Thurman's about to fight somebody. So you think Crawford would fight Thurman, but then that would have to it would take another 2 or 3. So it would all still end up around 8 months from now. His next fight, I think, even if he
right.
did fight Thurman or Ugas, it would still be sometime in the beginning of the summer.
And then Spence, you have to wait 8 months. I mean, he get off a year and 8 months, right?
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. Like his only other option would be moving up in weight and fighting somebody up in weight.
Right. So let me ask you, if he moves up in weight, you have to drop the belt.
No, he could fight once and then go back down, but that's
Go back
dangerous.
down.
That's dangerous in itself because ain't no telling how much he's gonna blow up. And he's not gonna just be 154. He's gonna be past 154. So
Exactly.
that he's 154 on the fight night. So
Right.
and then he's going to turn around and lose 15, somewhere around 15 pounds if he decides to
So,
fight Crawford. So or you
yeah,
guys.
yeah, yeah. So he's stuck. To me, I think he's stuck. He's out of his weight. Jerron is, what his IBF mandatory, Abu, I can't say his name right. He's from Kazakhstan, so I can't remember his name. But he's going to fight tonight. I'm going to look for that fight. I don't know if it's
Yeah,
on
I'm
Peacock.
glad you said it. I'm end up watching this shit too tonight.
Yeah, his name is Abuda or something like that. He's a white, he's Caucasian, but I can't pronounce his name right. But he's fighting tonight, and if he wins, he stays IBF mandatory. Errol Spence can fight him, and it's like knocking two birds off with one stone. Very rushed, and maybe IBF mandatory keep him busy.
And you know what's crazy is if it plays out that way, you talking about pushing this late into 2023,
Yeah, right,
2024 almost seeming like.
right. So draft season is very threatening to it's threatening to Spence.
So
He's
you
gonna
think that
spend
this is more you think this is playing out better in Crawford's hands than it is in Spencer's hands?
yeah.
Hmm.
Crawford never called out draft season and ultimate decision.
So you feel like he's not chasing the titles. He's just wanting to fight.
Uh, see, that's the thing with Crawford. We never know. We'll never
He's
know.
very wishy washy, like you said.
Right, right. It's very wishy-washy with him, and I like how he does it because at one time I was like, well, why you gotta say this? He's ducking it upstairs, and then next thing you know, after I'm starting to see the future events with him in the ring after he beat Tony, he says, yeah, the first thing he said, I could move up to 154. I could come and be a free agent and do the one thing with Josh Taylor. Or I could get this dude to fight me if he didn't kill him and Errol Spence. So he's saying that, and then he can fight, he had a lot of options. He can fight Keith Thurman. Errol Spence don't want that option. He doesn't want to fight Keith Thurman because of,
do
you
you, do
know,
you do you think Spence tries to go after Taylor? That's an
yeah,
option. I mean, if I mean, because he could freeze Crawford out of that fight by accepting. And I'm pretty sure Josh Taylor wouldn't want a 50-50 split.
yeah, but that's another combination of top rank
Yeah, 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 yeah.
and that's the same reason we used to fight with Crawford and Errol Spence because that's what it is with Barbera. He doesn't really do
It's crazy, man. There's so many scenarios that could play out, and the one that everybody wants to see is the least like
right,
them actually fighting each other is the least likely to happen.
right. So I'm not trying to change the subject, but this is the same thing with George Kambosos and Ted Davis. The last time I heard Ted Davis said to George Kambosos, man, I don't want your belt. I'll fight you, but I don't want your belt. So he's using
He
he's
said
letting
that.
him know that yeah, he said, I don't want your belt. I'll fight you, but I don't want your belt. But you see, this is the thing with Ted Davis.
Do you think he said that because he don't want to fight him in Australia, and if it's a title fight, it'll have to be in Australia? Yeah.
Right? I could take Davis will fight anybody. I don't got no problem with taking Davis fight anybody. But it's the people working behind him, like William and Errol. I know both of them don't want him to go to Australia to fight. He did it. And even Kevin Haney, Paul was like, go to Australia.
But don't you feel like that's fair? Don't you feel like it's fair? I mean, he had to come over here and win the titles from Tio.
Yes, yes. But Kevin Haney also said, I will fight Kambosos. I'll fight him with you. Fight it. Mars. I'll go all the way to Australia to see what the tank. Tank don't want to do it, but Kevin Haney wants to do it.
And that's interesting because I feel like Tank gives him the most problems. But if Tank's not willing to go over, that gives me doubt that he can beat him.
But see, the thing is, that's what look at the courage that Kambosos has. He feels he's picking Tank more than Kevin Haney. And I feel that he's picking Tank because Tank is 5'5", with a 67 reach, just like Manny Pacquiao. And he feels
That he's already
Kambosos is
prepared.
already packed.
Yeah, yeah,
He's prepared.
he's
He
already
wants to
prepared for that. And you know what's crazy? I think the fight that's gonna actually end up happening is Kambosa and Lomachenko. Because I don't think
yeah,
Lomachenko will have a problem going to Australia.
right, right, exactly, exactly. And see, this is the problem with Tank and Kambosos. The way I see it is, they both want to make money, regardless if you stay here or you go to Australia, because Australia got stadiums, they got arenas.
Yeah,
I mean, they got football
that's what
stadiums.
I'm saying. He's gonna make a boatload of money if he takes that fight. So I mean, if he don't, it lets me know there's some doubt in his mind that maybe that
Right,
he just can't win because it's Australia. But any doubt
right,
is not good doubt.
right, because they see what happened in Pacquiao. So everybody's like, man, I don't know about Australia. You got the referee that's going to be against me. You got the judges that can go to decision. But if you show yourself, Tank, go in here and knock him out.
And knock him
You
out.
knock him out and go to decision. Well, guess what? You lost because this fight got to happen because Tank Davis is the regular champion, and on top is Kambosos the super champion. In the same at the same sanctioning body.
So okay, so there is one. Well, actually, so the super champion can't hold the regular belt. So I guess that belt don't really matter in the scheme things of undisputed. So
Right. So, I think what else is that you have together? The WBA, the WBA being the same sanction body.
the regular and the super title,
Yeah. What's the
the
other body?
WBA regular and super
Right.
title. Yeah, yeah. But for some reason the super champion can't hold the regular title because Pacquiao had
Right.
both of them at the same, and they stripped him of the regular title.
Right. But this is what I'm saying. If you're gonna do a tournament in the welterweight division to get rid of all these stupid belts because you don't want a regular champion, why you can't do the same thing with if you the WBA sanction body ordering the welterweight division to get rid of having a tournament to get rid of the regular champion, that should be only one belt. You should be doing that
Yeah, yeah.
with
I don't
with
understand all this stuff. It just confuses everything. And then somebody said earlier, Max said earlier, they should have a tournament. And I'm like, well,
right.
the tournaments don't benefit the promoters, so that's never gonna happen. You know, the promoters want to hold the belts as long as they can because they can make more expensive fights. And if they doing tournaments, then they can't make they got more of a chance of losing them belts than they do just making the fights they want to make.
Right, exactly. So that's my thing. I just don't believe that. I believe Tank will fight anybody, but I just think Mayweather and LB, they're not taking the risk because they're talking about high risk, low reward.
Reward, yeah, definitely. And
Low
it,
risk, high reward.
and that's
They
why
don't want to do that stuff.
I definitely feel like he's probably gonna end up fighting Vasil Lomachenko over in
Oh
Australia.
yeah, yeah. I think he will too. And that fight will be a good fight. I mean, see the thing about me and Lobo, I like Lobo. I think he's good, the big kicks and all that, but he's an Asian guy, so I don't know how he's gonna be.
Yeah, that's why I said I think Kambosos might get a knockout out of that fight because we don't know. We don't know what we don't know what I mean because he's not a naturally big guy, you know, of Vasil. He's not a big 130 pound. Like he's not moving up to 140 anytime soon. So I think yeah, and Teofimo was dwarfing Vasil Lomachenko. So and Kambosos is bigger than Teo, so I think it's going to be even worse of a beating than Teo gave to him. So he's fighting tonight. Yeah, he's good. I like him, but he definitely his frame it he might need to go back down to 120. Yeah, I think Manny destroy him, especially at 130. 130, I don't think he'll be able to deal with that speed. Yeah. And the difference is, I think the one that Santa Cruz gave, if that was Pacquiao giving it, he would have knocked Tank. I think he would have knocked Tank out. So, yeah. So, definitely, definitely, and I agree with you. So, and the last question. All right, last question. What where you rank Kambosos on the pound for pound right now? Top five. No, I put him in there. I forgot the other day. I'm glad you have reminded me because I said Canelo, Tyson Fury, George Kambosos, Earl Spence, Terence Crawford, and then Uzaki. Okay, hold on. Maybe I got it backwards then. So Usyk got all those. I thought Tyson Fury had all those belts. He just got that one belt that he got from Wilder. Okay, so let me reverse that then. So I would have Fury at six and Usyk at two. I mean, you kind of got to. I put him at number one just because he's been the most active. I mean, he might be winning because of the steroids, but I mean, yeah, I mean he ain't got caught yet, so you gotta give it till he gets caught. You gotta give it to him. So they actually suspended him for that for the was that for the cow meat that he got caught with? I didn't know they suspended him for that. Okay, okay. He did get caught. So yeah, okay, so he did get caught. Okay.
can't tell who the name, but that's an excuse. Like, if you're telling me that Tank was just a pay-per-view star, he's the main attraction of the cash cow, you're telling me that he doesn't need any main boxer to fight him. And everybody just come see Tank Davis beat a nobody. So if they're going to be on that card to do something like that, that tells me that we don't know what we're going to get out of Tank when it comes to Devin, Jack Bosso, and Lomachenko. And Lomachenko been calling out Tank for the longest. He got three good fights with names, and he's fighting fighters with no names.
Yeah, because it wasn't it supposed to be Lomachenko versus Davis and not Lomachenko versus Tio. That ain't that the fight that they were supposed to be making, and then Tio just kind of got thrown in there at the last minute.
I think so, but like I said, when it comes to Bob Arum, and PBC, and it's so funny. What was the fight that we saw just recently that was a collab with Sean Porter and Terence Crawford?
And Terence Crawford.
And this guy, and Bob Arum came up on the interview and said, yeah, it's a new day, it's a new day. It's a new thing, you know what I'm saying? It's a new day. That means they should be doing collaborations with each other, PBC if you could do it with Porter and Crawford, and you ask Bob Arum, we gonna do this in the future? Yeah, we did with Tyson Fury and Wilder, we did with Porter
You think that was just a cash out fight for Bob Earl? He's like, well, Crawford's leaving anyway, so I might as well get as much out of this as I can before I lose him. So but so maybe he wasn't really wanting to work with them, but he just did it because he had to get some money out of it.
yeah, basically that's what's going on. So I don't know what's going on with Tank. I don't think he's gonna fight Devin, Jaboso, or Lomachenko. Not to say that he's a chicken
Wow, who's left then? You think he fights Ryan Garcia then?
I don't even know what's going on with Ryan Garcia, to tell you the truth. I don't know where he's at. I don't know what he's doing. He always got an excuse for something is wrong.
Or you think you think Tank would move up to 140 and try to challenge Josh?
You know why I don't think nothing because Mayweather's in control.
Yeah,
Mayweather's in
yeah,
control
yeah.
of that. To me, I think he went.
And Mayweather's gonna put him in a position to win and not not to have a good fight.
Exactly. That's what's basically going to happen. So, I mean, I don't know what's going to be like. Because that's not a lot of Isaac Cruzes out there. Isaac Cruz is a throwback, someone that people slept on. You know what I'm saying? Now he's in the mix where, people saying he can fight this one like a gatekeeper or whatever. We shall see what he's going to do. Because he's up and young. And now, if you're going to get a good test, Cruz to end up fighting Danny Garcia or, he can just be fighting anybody. He's in that name. He's a name status now. After what
Definitely.
he's done in that thing with Tank Davis. So it is what it is, man. I don't know. What you think?
I don't know, man. I don't know what's going on with Tank, man. I want to see him in a better competition, but I mean, like you just said, Floyd Mayweather is involved, so ain't that's you might see him fight Garbage Man for a long.
Whoa. I mean, listen, how many times are you going to fight someone, after a while, you might be the main attraction, you might be the cash cow, but you're going to get tired of that, and then your numbers are going to drop.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, I did know I've heard Barros' name before, but I mean, it's not like he's a big name in boxing.
Right, right. I think he had a belt. He had a belt with his okay. I think he had a belt. He had a belt. But other than that, when it comes to Kambosos, man, he's actually the cash cow himself. Even though,
Exactly. That's why I got him ranked so high. He's now I mean, he's now what Vasil was or what Tio was. I mean, you got to give him that credit.
right, because he's also saying to everybody, listen, you gotta come to my country and fight me.
And he did it in better fashion than both of those. I think his victory was better than Tio's victory over Vasil, and Vasil's
Right,
victories to get those belts.
right. So if Loma goes over there, we should see it. Like I said, if Kambosos can just stay to 12 rounds and keep it a little competitive, Tank is the win. You know what I'm
I
saying?
see him knocking. I see him knocking Vasil out. Personally, I know the Vasil fans ain't gonna like it, but I see him demolishing Vasil.
Right.
You think Haney will go over there and fight him?
Oh, he did say that. He said that in his last fight. He said, I want to juke him.
Yeah, you said he said he'll go to Juke. We have to see. We have to see if he's a man of his word.
Yeah, but we got to see that. Well, it looks like that also was talking about fighting that Raiders, and now he's talking about Lomo. So, we got to see. You know, Lomo's fight tonight.
Yeah, you said that. I didn't know that, so I'm definitely gonna check that out. And you said Errol Spence's mandatory fight tonight, so I gotta watch both those fights. And I
Yeah.
definitely I gotta check your boy out. You've been talking about Boots for a while, and I've been neglecting watching him, so I gotta go see
Yeah.
what he did to Jamal James.
Yeah. Well, no, not Jamal James. Who is that for Jamal James? I'm talking about just go look at his highlights. And
Who
you'll
did he
see.
fight? I thought Jamal James was in that tournament.
No, no, no. Jamal, Bruce Willis is not in the tournament.
I said Boots. I mean yeah, I said the wrong name. Uh
Okay.
what is his name? I forgot his name now.
That Nunez or Nunez.
Bootneff.
Oh, Nunez, the Russian dude.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that fight with Jamal James. You should go check that out too.
Did he knock James out?
No, he didn't knock him out. I think he stopped him.
He did stop him
Yeah,
though.
he
Huh.
stopped him. Yeah, he stopped him. Yeah, he stopped him. It was a decision, if I can recall. I was a little comfortable that time. You know what I'm saying? A little
And I'm mad I missed that fight because I was waiting for that to happen and I didn't even know it was happening. But all right, man, I think I'm gonna get off here, man. When you want to hop back on, man, I'm gonna do I'm probably gonna do the call in part of it every time I go live now. So anytime you want to call in, man, when I'm live, you got the floor.
Oh, okay, cool, man. Just let me know. I'll keep his number, man. You got my number now, so you can
Yeah,
text me.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I got you locked in.
Whatever you feel like it, man. Just text me, and if I'm good to go, I'm good to go, bro. You know
Yeah,
what I'm saying? Caps
definitely.
and closing.
Definitely. Y'all go check out Caps, man, if y'all ain't subscribed to him already, man. I appreciate you coming through, bro.
Yes, yes. Caps and closing. If anybody want to check me out and my crazy ways, man. You know, yo, check out my last video. I roasted that dude. That's like the best, man. Again.
Hey, what happened? What happened? Hey, y'all want to ask you that too. What happened to Punch Drunk?
Well, that was my video, man. That was my video because Punch Drunk, he got he had an accident. He's cool now. He's back. From what I know, but he's cool now. He's back. He's making these videos and stuff. But and what that's what the best say. And he wished him death. So I had made a video about that too.
I didn't know that. I didn't know. I was wondering why you had named it that.
Yeah, he just doing what everybody said. They don't agree to it completely. You know?
Yeah, man. He's got a wild mouth, man.
Yeah, yeah. Well, like I said, I like to use him as an example because, like I told a lot of people, I said, listen, we boxing like once a year. We come on here and we fight more than the boxing. And then you gotta act like we don't see other channels. I know a lot of times like I don't watch your channel. You know, I'm watching everybody's channel, and I don't even speak about other people's channels. Not the content, but to say, listen, I want to give this man a big up because I heard what he said, and this and that. Because we do all the fighting sometimes, but then
Exactly.
we take it goes to another level where you want people to die because you know.
Because you don't want them to win a fight. Like they ain't even trying to kill each other in the ring. They just want to win.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So man, anytime you ready, man, just let me know. I feel my good. If I'm not taking a drink or a little smoke, and I got my mind right like I do right now.
He said, "Hey man, they seem to like it. The drink champs is winning. We might need to turn it into a drunk show."
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But when I start to get a little toasty, I can't get my shit together. I'll be all over the place. So I gotta
Definitely.
make sure I'm focused.
Definitely, and I'm eventually get the stream yards and stuff popping too, man. Because trying to do it on the other programs is too difficult and have guests. So I'm gonna do it this way till I get stream yards popping. But I appreciate you, man. I'm gonna hop off here, bro.
All right, man. Take care, man. I'll holler at you when you're ready, man.
You know it, bro. Take it easy, man.
All right, easy.
All right, all right, y'all, man. I'm gonna hop off here. I appreciate y'all for coming through, man. Appreciate that. If you ain't hit that like button, man, hit that like button for me. I might be back on her tomorrow. If not, I'll be back Monday. Appreciate it, man. It's your boy Cotton Red and Wheat.
Negative, okay, nothing further. Just
All that seems to be on my mind is
Alright, that's
hustling.
1096.
All that seems to be on my mind is hustling.
Negative, okay, nothing further. Just
All that seems to be on my mind is
Alright, that's
hustling.
1096.
All that seems to be on my mind is hustling. I just wanna touch a onion. She just want a couple hundred. I got mad and changed the subject. Then I got drunk and said fuck it. This is for my hustling niggas. This is for my hustling bitches. Pull up with that Aquafina. Yellow bone, her name is Tina. Tina like the hit casinos. Tina could snort a whole kilo. Tina like to fight and argue. Bye bye Tina, bitch, who are you? Met a dark skin chick named Anna. Anna like that marijuana. Anna was from the Bahamas. At least that's what she said. I assume she's honest. I apologize, Your Honor. I just wanted me some money. You can't tell these niggas frontin'. You can't tell these niggas nothing. You can't tell these niggas nothing.